In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the new PXG Hellcat zero torque putter. So this is the cheapest zero torque putter on the market at £239, but will it perform? And I'm saying £239, I weren't sure whether to include this in the review, but I've actually seen some already at sub £200 brand new. So this is a very affordable zero torque putter, and let's have a look at it. I mean, first impressions wise, it's a bit more traditional looking than some of the putters we've seen, isn't it, Dan? Yep. It's, you know, almost a bit like a sort of traditional answer-shaped head. Obviously, it looks like the shaft would go into the centre of the putter if it extended through. So it definitely looks zero torque-ish. You know, obviously, it's not your conventional looking putter. But there's a few key points to mention about this. It has got the forward lean grip, which I really do like, because it's designed to, it's pressed forward 1 degree, so it's designed to get your hands in front of the ball, which, you know, obviously for putting coaches and people like that, they'll always prefer you to get that sort of little bit of a forward lean. So it's playing at 4-degree lofts, but actually in motion, once you're set up to it, it's going to play at 3-degree loft. So yeah, I'm looking forward to testing this one. So as well as putters being zero torque, I always say in my reviews, there's a couple of things you can't overlook, because if you overlook it, it can outweigh the benefit of zero torque. So you've got to like the look of the putter. You've got to be very comfortable addressing and lining up the putter to the line. So obviously we've got like a nice sight line here, and that makes a sort of T-shape with a club face. So it is the kind of model that I would have always looked towards before zero torque. But is it going to feel nice? Is it going to be good for the lag putts, for the longer putts? Because some of these zero torque putters, if you watch the reviews, a lot of people say are very light in feeling, and when it comes to longer putts, they sort of struggle. So first things first, let's just give you my first impression how it is to sort of square up to and how I feel over the ball. So first impression, I love that head. It's almost like a sort of wider sort of answer, isn't it? Like a one wide. So it's a nice sort of shaped head, more traditional looking. I think once I'm sort of set up, I've got that ball in the middle of my stance, with that grip on, I feel in a lovely position. So I feel as though my hands are right in the middle. So I don't feel like I'm pressed forward at all, but you can see that shaft is leaning backwards, so it's actually in a lovely position, but I don't feel like I'm pushing my hands into any unnatural position. And it's enough as well, like, because we reviewed the TaylorMade ZT putter, didn't we, and I didn't even know that I'd got a forward press in that putter because it was so subtle, whereas this one I can actually tell I've got the forward lean, but my hands are in the centre. So I love that, absolutely love that for setting up. That's the first putt in a test. I did do a little warm-up just to get a feel for it. I've not done any warm-up on longer putts though, so I'm taking my time with these. Obviously I don't want to sort of just rush and hit them. I want to try to sort of really hole as many as I can. I love the simplicity of this though, Dan. You know, like, we've seen so many mallets, haven't we, in this category, but not so many sort of good looking blades. And at that price point, it's something actually you can go out and buy into and you can afford. So ball in the middle. I mean, I feel lovely, you know, stood here. I feel like I can just address it as normal. I don't feel like I'm having to manipulate or adapt into the putter. We are battling a little bit with the wind. It seems to come off, in comparison to other zero torques that I've tested as well, a little bit hotter off the face. Which I like, because I think sometimes when you've got to make too much of a stroke, you can lose the benefits then of zero torque. I think if you can let the weight of the club do the work, then you really do get the benefit of zero torque, because you're not having to sort of, you know, overuse your hands and your bigger muscles. You can let the weight of the head do the work. We've got a really blustery, tough day today. Do you know what? I only need to do one more. I'm rating this as good as I've ever tested in zero toe category, you know, for actually feeling comfortable. Because I love zero toe putters. I don't know if you watch the channel, but some of the putters, you know, I felt like I've had to push my hands forward to suit, you know, obviously, like if we use the Odyssey as example, or, you know, even sometimes with a lab, I felt like a bit more of in an unnatural position. You've got to adapt into it. And they can work, but with this one, if you're a bit sort of stubborn and you don't want to sort of like change your technique, this one you can literally stand to it as normal, and it's already putting you in such a better address position. You're naturally putting that little forward lean in, and right, so we set up a bit of a lag putt, and we're going to sort of see what it feels like on sort of longer putts. Dan's saying like, what's it feel like, what's it feel like? And I'm not sure yet on that short putt. I mean, it sounded quite firm, but I think we'll get a good sense of the feel now on this longer distance putt. I'm sorry about the wind, it is a really windy day today. So, I don't know if you can hear that, but it almost sounds like the old-fashioned ping. Yeah, you know, the copper. I don't know if video will pick it up. Copper ping. It's a bit very pingy out the middle of the face. I'm not sure what it'll sound like out the toe and heel, but we'll be doing that test soon. Although it sounds quite firm and pingy, it does feel soft, you know, at longer putts. That one I didn't feel like I got out middle, so it does have a different sound, Dan, if you miss the middle. What'll be interesting is to see whether, because at this price something's got to give, and I think when we do the toe and heel test, it'll be interesting to see what the speed is off the face, whether it's consistent across the face like some of the other zero toe models that we've tested. One more, see if I can knock this one in. That were a better roll. Do you know, from back there I was thinking I've not got them that close, but to be fair,
yeah, eventually from 35 foot,
yeah, I'd be,
you're going to be able to do all of them, aren't you?
yeah, I'd be knocking all of these in. They're all sort of. Right, so we're going to test across the face, firstly starting by the centre of the face. Now, we're not aiming at a particular target. This is all about, you know, the speed that it comes off the face to test whether it's hotter or colder on the toe and heel. So we've got it set in the centre, so we physically can't hit the toe or the heel because of the tees, and we're going to be taking it back to 13 inch to keep that backstroke consistent. And let's see if we get any patterns, or whether it's not as hot out the toe and heel. So the club face is going to go back to the tee. I'm not aiming at that flag at all, it's more just wait. Let's do one more. So you'd imagine if we put the same stroke on it, back to the tee, it should be quite consistent. Which, I think that's pretty consistent. Right, let's put it in a position now that I can only physically hit the heel. Right, so now I physically can't hit the centre of the club face or I'll hit the tee. So the only way to sort of strike this putter clean is out the heel. Wow, that surprised me, that. I thought this putter were going to falter on this. Because now I'm starting to wonder, you know, why it's so much cheaper. because I like the grip, I like the lean, I like the traditional head. Well, I like the putter, but why is it so much cheaper? I'm not even looking at the line so much, it's just the weight. That's it, so I can't hit the centre now. This is very toey. I think you'd have to be blind to hit it this far towards toe. Even I couldn't hit it this far towards toe. That's amazing pace-wise. Now feel-wise, is you can tell I'm missing the centre of the club face. I'm not getting that ping feedback at all. It's a very dull, dead, sound, which is almost like a reminder now to me. I'll be able to identify any off-centre strikes with this putter, but weight-wise, it's blown me away. That I weren't expecting that at all. I could probably say that's probably the best ever results we've had across the face. Yeah. So as you'll know, guys, I'm probably the biggest critic when it comes to zero-toe putters, and this one has absolutely blown me away today. I weren't expecting it to perform as good across the board as it has, and I think now the other brands have got to ask themselves, why PXG being able to put a putter in the zero-toe market at sort of 239, as we've seen some at sub 200 on some websites, and they haven't been able to do that yet. I don't know, but what I would say, it's going to shake things up in the zero-toe market, and it's certainly one that if you prefer that bit more traditional looking putter and you want to sort of try zero-toe technology, I don't know what other route I can suggest you go down at that price point. It's incredible, and yeah, I might even give it a little test myself and play with it. It's probably the first zero-toe putter, that apart from mallet heads, I felt so comfortable with. I'm not comparing it against others, but there's some fantastic, nice, traditional looking ones, but this one particularly, and I think it's more to do with this forward lean and the grip, I just feel dead comfortable, I just got straight into it. So yeah, I'll not say no more. PXG.